All right, Malik Lampkin. Probation, are you ready on this one? Hello. How are you doing today?
I'm all right.
All right, today is the day I believe I consider removal of GPS.
Yes, Judge.
All right, how has he been doing?
Judge, there's no concerns on this at this point. With his probation, he's been doing exactly what he needs to do, reporting as needed. His drug tests have been fine. We don't have any concerns. I did briefly speak with Mr. Lampkin and his grandfather, who is here and who's always been here. And both of them say that he's doing what he's supposed to do. He's still seeing the people at Center for Healthcare Services. He's on his meds. And at this point, they have no concerns.
All right, and if his grandfather can come up?
Sure.
Hello. All right, thank you so much for being a support system for him. How's everything going?
Pretty good. I had to get a look. Yeah, I'm ex-military, so we shot all these weapons through my ears.
Ah, okay. Oh, I am too, but it's just allergies for me.
Oh, that's nice.
So how's he doing?
I'm pretty good. We're making sure that he goes to the Center for Health Services on time for the probation guy. Taking his meds and just really, staying around and working with him and everything. So he's doing very well.
All right. Is there anything you need from the court for him?
No, Your Honor, except he says he wants the lotto numbers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we all do.
Yeah. But other than that, no, Your Honor, he's doing very well.
All right. And are you okay with the removal of the GPS?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, and he's been going to a lot of, his mother is an evangelist.
Mm-hmm.
He's been doing, going to, seeing a lot of people get baptized and things like that. So he's really turned himself over to, to Jesus, so that's really helped him.
Okay.
He's turning, being a new Christian. He's born again, he says.
And are they just baptizing in an indoor pool?
Mm-hmm.
I would always tease my brother because I ended up getting baptized in the creek. I'm like, you just been in a pool. I was in a creek, so I know. All right. Thank you so much. And thanks for being there for him. If there's anything that comes up that you need help with something with him, just let probation know or come back to the court. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Good thing.
Judge, I did ask Mr. Lampkin if he was working or anything like that, and he said he's not doing that at this time, that he is in the process of applying for his SSI.
Okay. All right. Make sure you apply for that and stay on top of that. Okay.
Oh.
All right. Is there anything you need from the court?
No.
All right. So I'm going to lift the GPS, but don't get wild with the GPS, like, oh, I'm free. All right. Still slowly work your way back into society. Okay. So you can, if I were you, even though you're not going to be on GPS and there's not going to be a curfew for you, I would still keep up with the curfew and just slowly extend it. And remember, nothing good happens after 12 a.m. You understand?
Yes.
All right. So I'll order removal of GPS.
Judge.
All right. Anything else you need from the court? All right. If something comes up and you need some help with something, call your probation officer. If you feel as though they're not addressing it, you can always come back to the court. All right. All right. Thanks for dressing appropriately for court. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. Are the parties ready on Renee Kantu? All right. Court is calling 2024 CR 4260 and 2022 CR 4259 W State of Texas versus Renee Angel Kantu. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Daniel Escalpres from the state of Texas.
Defense?
Floyd Barrera, Jr.
All right. And are you Mr. Kantu?
One, Your Honor. Yes, ma'am.
All right. You entered a plea on April 2nd of no contest in each of these cases. The court found there was sufficient evidence to find you guilty in each of the cause numbers. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Your Honor, this is the same PSI
Yes.
that was prepared for you when you first placed him on probation. So yes, we have.
No. I haven't placed him on probation.
Yes, Your Honor, he's on probation. and you gave him probation with all of these cases pending.
Ah, just one moment. Could I see another file on Mr. Cantu?
And Judge, yes, that is correct.
All right. I only have two files before me. That's why.
I have the PSI if you'd like to see.
Oh, no. I'm wondering if you all have any objections to the PSI.
No, it's the same PSI that we've seen before.
All right.
6-year probation. We applied for 5. She gives us 6.
All right, thank you. All right, and each of the cause numbers, according to the plea bargain agreement, the state is opposed to your application. And it states in here that this is running concurrent with CM 105821.
And I think, Judge, that's one of the 2 cases, I think back when this pled, that waiver number may not have existed. So
Yes.
They just use this again instead.
All right, and they're taking in consideration CM 104043, NIMAG number 712122 and 712121. All right, state, you are opposed?
Yes, Judge.
All right, any witnesses from either side?
Just my client, Judge.
All right, if you can raise your right hand for me, please. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Renee Kantu.
All right, defense, you
Good
may
morning.
proceed with direct examination.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning, Mr. Cantu. How old are you, sir?
I am 33 years old.
Okay. And are you currently on probation in this court?
Yes, I am.
All right, and what are you on probation for?
I am on probation for a possession of manufactured delivered 4 to 200 grams that happened, I believe, in 2021.
Okay. Now, when you applied for probation in that case, which the court just ordered up, all of the matters that you've taken care of with Mr. Neil Cordero, they were all pending and included in the PSI that the court placed you on probation for. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay.
All in 2021.
But since that time, most of those cases, the majority of those cases have been disposed of, either taking them into consideration or just outright dismissed.
Correct.
And now you're before the court on 2 of the cases that were pending before we even applied for probation in the case that you're on probation
Oh,
for.
yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Now, is it true and correct that since the court has placed you on probation, no violations of your probation have ever been filed or have occurred?
That's correct, not one. And I've been on this monitor for 3 years and since then.
All right,
and
so-
all good.
You're on a monitor for 3 years, no violations of the monitor.
Correct.
You've been drug tested for 3 years and no violations of any drug testing.
At
You've
all.
been, suffice it to say, 100% clean
Correct.
and in 100% compliance and in obedience with the court's probation.
Correct. And I don't know if the court remembers, but they gave me like a list of 9 things to do.
Correct.
Like intensive outpatient treatment, 12 weeks, a 90-day program, like just 9 separate things, but I've completed all of them. So yeah.
All right. And are you gainfully employed?
Yes, sir, I am.
Are you full-time employed?
I sure am.
And so suffice it to say that on page 2 of this PSI, the court was informed of this myriad of cases that occurred prior to you being placed on probation.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they knew that before, since 2021.
And obviously, these cases are now disposed of, except for 2 that are before the court today.
Correct, yes, sir.
Okay. So have any negative consequences occurred in your life since the court placed you on probation?
Not with
The court.
the court, but with myself, of course, I'm like, so when I wrote the court a few times ago, I really didn't mean disrespect when I said, I'm not one of these hoodlum thumbs or thugs. I really did mean that. Like, I used to
Be a
mess up.
hoodlum.
Yes.
You used to be a hoodlum thug.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
what you're saying.
So, like, I didn't mean it in a bad way, no offense, but I thought I was Billy Badass, excuse my language, but obviously that wasn't for me. So that's why I have done everything good now. Because that life was stupid.
Okay,
like,
so here's the thing. This is the point that the court wants everybody to get to. Number one, when he was placed on probation in this court for that drug case, the state was silent to his application. When I accepted that plea, I was not given any of the facts of this because these were unindicted cases.
Correct.
So I would like for us to get to the point as to the drug dealing, because when the stipulations that were entered into, that everybody agreed, these are the steps. He's selling drugs and he's moving a large quantity of drugs. That's why this is over, I think, 200 grams. And the case that he's on probation for is not. The case that he's on probation for is, I think, 4,200.
Correct.
And these are over 200 grams.
Judge, when the offense that he's on probation for occurred, he was involved in drugs, clearly. They're all stated on page 2 of the old PSI. And Your Honor, all of that is history. And it is obviously known to this court by virtue of the fact that since you have been in control of his life, placed him on a monitor 3 years ago, he has respected all the rules and regulations of the law and of this court. And so we cannot deny his history. It is there before you. It was for you clearly when you respectfully granted him his probation. Judge, he has made a 100% turnaround from the life that he was living. That is not who he is today. And he has 3 years of sobriety to show for his really a miraculous turnaround. Can I finish?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So we respectfully submit that he has proven to this court in every way that he is sober, he is gainfully employed, he is making an honest living for maybe the first time, and all due to this court's surveillance and this court's observations and this court's control. There is no reason to believe that he cannot successfully complete any term of probation that you would consider placing him on. To incarcerate him after he's made such a significant change in his life, Judge. I mean, this is a success case. We don't have a lot of them in this world of ours, but he has proven himself in every single way imaginable to this court. So the purpose of the state being opposed to his probation, well, clearly, historically, I respect their position. But to oppose probation today, after the man has lived a law-abiding life, a peaceful life, and a hardworking, diligent life as far as being lawfully, gainfully employed, to throw all of that in the toilet and incarcerate him would serve what purpose? I mean, clearly punishment is punishment, but probably God is the only person who knows how much he has punished himself over his young years. You know where his father is. His father's in the penitentiary for dealing drugs. You know from the last hearing, when we asked you for probation, this man is grown up in CPS world, going from home to home to home to home. Not a mom, not a dad.
Okay. I
Low
understand
enough.
your
Yeah,
arguments,
yeah.
but do you have any more questions for him?
Yes. Do you believe that going to the penitentiary after you've changed your life would benefit you?
Not at all.
Do you believe that it would benefit anybody in this courtroom or anybody in the community because after 3 years of sobriety, now you're locked up? Would that help society?
No, that would be kind of dumb.
Okay, well, are you a contributing member to this community today?
Oh, yes, for the past 3 years, yes, now I pay tax. I do everything legally now.
Oh,
Kind of side note. So yes, I just want you to hear for my own mouth.
That's fine, there's no question.
All right, so I tell you what, counsel, you finish your
Yeah.
questions, then I'll allow state to
Thank you, Judge.
do cross-examination, and then
I'll
if
pass
there's
the witness,
anything
Judge.
you wish to address with the court, you can. State, it's your cross.
Judge, sir, just looking very quickly at this PSI, one, did you review it with your attorney?
Yes,
Well, we're aware that during one portion, it says the defendant denied suffering any abuse as a child and reported CPS was not involved in his childhood.
no, I was in CPS for from 9 to about 17 years old.
So why would it be in the PSI that your attorney didn't object to that CPS wasn't involved? And this is all stuff that they're getting directly from you.
I was in Child Protective Services my whole, from St. PJ's, from St. Jude's, yeah, like I could name them, Low Ridge.
Okay, so just going back, also looking at your criminal history, you agree with me, you have quite an extensive criminal history.
Yes, sir, I do agree with you.
And being out of Denver, it would be a assault to drugging victim where you did get probation. You were given 4 years probation, and that probation was revoked.
That wasn't, that was like a lesser charge. It was a regular fight, except to like a plea. Like the plea that I had, it
Right,
had
but-
to
but
be
you
something
agree
about
that
drugging.
You have that in your.
Oh, yes, when I was 19 years old, I'm 33 now. I was a teenager.
And again, it was revoked on that back in 2020, correct? It says
Mm,
right here in the PSI. granted
The case
removal.
happened in December 21st, 2014, I believe.
One of
It happened when I was 19 years old.
One other thing I wanted to ask or get into really quickly was, what's changed? What exactly has changed?
I grew up. I'm not a kid anymore. I was hurt. I was angry. And I know I can't blame anybody for my childhood. Like he's like, yeah, your mom's dead, your dad's. Who cares? Like I'm an adult now. Get over it. You have stuff to do. You have to be an adult, have a job, you have everything. Be a man,
At the time of this offense, the offense that you're here before the court, who was living with you at that home?
I was actually hopping around at that time.
Okay.
So I did need money. So I was trying any little way, to get money at that when that happened.
And again, this is after you've already been arrested for other cases and already had issues with drugs in the past. Is that correct?
No, I've never had a drug issue at all in my lifetime until these drug cases. Never in my life. So once again, that drugging victim is a regular fight out of Denver, Colorado when I was 19, except the plea had to be assault with drugging victim, but there was like no drugs involved at all. That was just like part of the plea.
Nothing further from the state judge.
All right, any other questions?
That's all, Judge.
All right, I have a question.
Yes, Judge.
So everybody, when they come before me, they're always talking about me, 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 me. My question is, what do you think was happening with the drugs you were selling?
What happened? Say it again. I'm
What
sorry.
do you think was happening with the drugs you were selling? What do you think they were going?
Hurting lives.
Mhm. And you continued.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
And why were you selling drugs?
Because I needed money and I believe I had a job working at a warehouse. And I went from making like $6,000 a week to maybe $300-400. So that was not, I was so used to like living with $3,000 or $4,000 for my rent, for everything. So I started like panicking, like, oh, dude, I need money, you know? So that's when I thought I was Billy Badass, and I wasn't.
Oh, yeah. So walk me through this. So you are working.
Yes, ma'am.
So how do you reach out to somebody saying, hey, I want to sell some drugs for you?
So I was kind of in the ghetto, the west side, and it's not hard at all. Like you literally just go right there. Tell someone in Guadalupe, hey, dude, you know, what do you want? You have everything there. So of course I initiated, I'm like, hey, I need some money. Like, what can I do? And then yeah, that's how it. Like, okay, you want to work? Well, here we go. And literally, like the second time, that's when the officers like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm an officer. Like shit.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
No.
Any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
All right, court will hear argument.
Judge, the state's gonna argue here that I think he should at least get the 10-year minimum. These are a lot of drug cases that are all coming in very rapid succession. He also has a very extensive criminal history. The state asked what's changed between now and then, and there really wasn't an answer that was given. There was no details as to what he's done, other than being under court supervision, where he knows if he tests positive for drugs, that's something that can get him in trouble. If he does anything out of line or commits another offense, that's something that's just going to make it worse for him. So again, it's something that we haven't really had any detail as to what exactly has changed. So the state would ask for 10 years in the prison.
All right.
Judge, his entire criminal history was known to the state when this court placed him on probation. Nothing negative has occurred. Everything positive has occurred. This is a successful probationer. This is someone who has changed his life around. I don't understand the logic. What has changed? This man has changed. The man before you, Exhibit A, has changed. His entire criminal history is spelled out very clearly when the same state of Texas recommended probation,
Oh, I
Or
think
at
they were
least-
silent.
or remain silent. And no objection at that time was offered by the state when this court granted him probation. Judge, this court, has helped him, as he said in here. Why do you want to be on probation? And he said, because it'll be my mentor. And you, whether you have agreed to or not, have been his mentor. You, whether you knew it or not, have had a very positive impact on this man's life. And Judge, I can't underestimate the strength of the statement. He has not stepped across the legal line in 3 years. How can we punish him today for what happened when he was 19 or 20 or 21 or whatever? And
I
these
think this is
cases,
from 2022.
these cases were already pending when the court considered everything and placed him on probation. He has not disappointed you. He has not disappointed probation. He has not disappointed anyone. His employer loves him. He is a hard-working, sober, contributing member of this community. To throw his life away and give him 10 years in prison, Judge, I don't see what good would come out of that, because he has demonstrated that he not only can talk the talk before you today, he's walked it. Every step, Judge, he's walked with you, with your probation office. I mean, thank you. He's not who he was because of this court. And now, at the last minute, to pull the rug out from under him and say that we need now to protect society from what you did back before I gave you probation, I don't see the logic in that. What purpose would be served to incarcerate a middle-aged man who admitted that he was a young
Want to be done.
person who did not respect the
I mean,
law?
he wasn't young because this is in 2022. So it was 2 years ago. He tells me he's in his 30s.
Correct.
So doing young and dumb things is usually teenagers, not people who are in their late 20s. I mean, that
Yes, I understand.
for the
that.
court, that argument, I'm young and I'm dumb and I'm in my late 20s and I can't control my impulses. That's usually for teenagers.
Sure. And that statement was going to all of that history that was brought up by the state, you know, in Denver, Colorado, and here and there and everywhere. That's where that statement was going. Judge, he admitted his guilt. He came before this court. These cases have been pending a long time, and he has never absconded from the jurisdiction of this court. He's never missed a court date or a court hearing. And, you know, he has patiently waited for this day to arrive, and it has. And I just would ask the court to consider the good that this court has done in this man's life, and why, you know, throw the baby out with the bathwater at this time, Judge. It's you know, 10 years of probation. He's done so far so good. You can still give him the 10 years the state wants you to give him today. You can give it to him tomorrow, next week, next month, or next year.
All right, thank you. Anything else from the state?
Judge, again, these few cases that you have before you, you didn't have this information whenever you decided to give them probation the last time. It's because they were still pending. They hadn't been indicted yet. There was no movement on them. Now that they have come forward, this is what we offered based off of the facts that are in these cases. Again, the court did not have these before. You have them now. You have the ability to take this into consideration. This isn't a teenager who's making bad decisions. This is a grown adult. It's a grown man. He made these choices and the consequences that both of them.
All right, thank you. All right, so Deputy Mejia, Deputy Laura, if you'll take him into custody and counsel, you need to be back here at 11 and the court will make its decision.
Thank you, Judge.
All right.
You're on, I'm on,
I thought it was just.
All right, Jason Gonzalez, if you'll come forward. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, thanks for dressing appropriately for court. Your attorney is ill, so we're going to give you a short reset, okay? Ms. Ferguson, on Jason Gonzalez, if I can have a reset for 14 days. Criminal Trial Division, Jason Gonzalez is going to be reset for a couple of weeks.
Thank you, Judge.
I just don't have the validation.
I judge, we can be back on July 23rd.
All right, so we'll bring you back on July 23rd. Once you sign the reset form, you're excused. All right, just have a seat. They'll call you back up to sign the reset. Juan Arola. Hello, thank you for dressing appropriately for court. All right, today is plea deadline date,
Yes, Judge.
and where are we?
So,
Is
good
this going
morning.
to be, good morning, is this going to be an agreement? And I'm sorry, if you could introduce yourself to the court reporter?
Hi, good morning. I'm Jonathan Watkins and I have Christian Vega with me. Good morning, Judge.
Good morning.
Your Honor, at this time, the defense would respectfully request a trial setting.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, I need a jury trial setting on family violence. How long do y'all expect this trial to last?
a few days, sure.
All right, so it's 2 days.
1 second, Judge.
And if you all, before you leave, if you can make sure you do an acknowledgement of discovery.
Yes, Judge.
Yes, ma'am.
So how's it been going?
Judge, we've been blessed. Busy though. Yourself?
Oh, busy.
Yeah.
But there's a storm barreling towards Louisiana, so I have to make sure I check on my family, make sure everything is okay.
Judge, I can be September 9th.
All right, September 9th would be your jury trial date.
It's impacts, just so they know. Judge.
All right.
Yeah.
And it will be impact court.
How impactful.
We shall see. All right, any other questions?
No, and we're going to continue to confer with the state, Your Honor. We have an open line of communication. And we appreciate that.
All right, so once you sign the reset form, you'll be excused. Just have a seat, and attorneys don't leave until I've received the acknowledgement of discovery.
And hope everyone stays safe, Judge.
Oh, thank you so much. You guys have a good one.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Judge.
All right, court is calling 2024 CR 3190, State of Texas versus Jennifer Nicole Humphreys. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state
Daniel Escalpres, the state of Texas.
defense?
Peter Calderola from Ms. Humphreys, Your Honor.
Are you Ms. Humphrey?
Yes, ma'am.
You entered a plea on May 13th of no contest. According to the plea bargaining agreement, the state is recommending deferred adjudication. And they're asking that your community service supervision, duty for a total of 3 years. Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client, counsel?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
All right, raise your right hand for me, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Jennifer Humphreys.
You're gonna need to speak up.
Jennifer Nicole Humphreys.
All right. And I'm sorry, just one moment, counsel.
Yes, Your Honor.
Listed on this is your mom.
That is correct, Judge.
All right, are you standing in for her?
I am standing in for her, and I'm sorry to make that announcement.
Ms. Humphreys, do you have any objection to this attorney standing in?
No, I do not.
All right, so Ms. Humphreys, the reason why you're in custody is that you didn't report for your TAP evaluation and PSI. Why didn't you report?
I had to work that day and I wasn't able to reschedule my my appointment with the medical records.
For what?
For medical records, because it's by appointment only with the clinics and I have to
All
retreat.
right, so your number one thing was to report. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
All right, so what do you do for a living?
I work for Ashton Carter. I retrieve medical records by appointment only. And
Judge, and I have some of her pay stubs here if the court would like to see
All right,
them.
no, just give me a moment. So specifically, what do you do in this medical field?
I retrieve medical records and I have to upload them for certain insurances and stuff like that.
All right, so you're trailing off. You need to speak up so the court reporter can hear, and more importantly, so that I can hear, because I'm making the decision on whether or not I'm following this plea. And if I cannot hear you, guess what? I end up making assumptions, and I don't want to make assumptions. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so you say you retrieve medical records?
Yes.
And this location you working at, do they have medications there?
Do you have medications? No.
All right.
Well, I work in the medical records department at different facilities. So, yeah.
And do they know about your history?
Yes, they do. But see, I work for Ashton Carter and Ashton Carter sets me up with appointments for different clinics, but I'm not in the medical part. It's in the back office part where there's no medications or anything like that. It's just like an office setting.
So is he aware of your criminal history and that you have this possession case?
I'm not sure if they know about this possession case, my
Well, I
recent one,
mean-
because they haven't ran a background check on me recently, but
So did you
I've
tell
been there
them?
for a
That will
while.
be a no, correct?
no, I have not told them.
All right, so
my
you need to
recent-
tell them.
I will definitely tell them, let them know.
Do you have any children?
I do.
What are their ages?
16, 15, and 13.
And where are they now?
Right now, they're at home.
Who's at home with them?
Daniel Nishihara, who I live with.
Sorry, who?
Daniel, my friend Daniel.
Who is your friend Daniel?
He's my friend. I don't know. He's just a friend.
And I'm sorry, give me your ages of your children again.
16, 15, and 13. My
Right,
13-year-old is at my grandma's house. She lives with my grandma.
She lives with your grandmother. 15-year-old, is that a girl or a boy?
He's a boy.
16-year-old, girl or boy?
He's a boy.
All right, why is your 13-year-old living with your grandmother or her
Um,
grandmother?
Because she decides to live over there. She prefers to live with my grandma.
And how long have you known this Daniel person?
Since what, 18 years probably, since before my oldest was born.
Does he know about your drug use?
He knows that I got in trouble with this charge, yes.
So my question is, does he know about your drug use?
He knows I had a drug problem before, yes.
And does he know specifically about this charge?
Yes.
And does he use?
No, he does not.
And is Child Protective Services involved?
They have an investigation for a retaliation thing, but it had nothing to do with this charge.
What is the retaliation about?
My friend's boyfriend decided to call CPS on me out of retaliation just to get us away from him. It's a long story, but
Oh, what did they allege when they called CPS?
that I left my kids alone at his house and I was supposed to return when I got my income tax or something like that. But it was not true. He just wanted us to get away from his boyfriend. So, because he had just gotten out of jail and we were there helping him. And yeah, he was just abusive. So he wanted me out of the way
All right, so he was abusive?
towards his boyfriend, and I was there helping him while he was in jail. So we were there helping him and he did that.
And you allowed your children around that person?
No, he was in jail. So we don't talk to them anymore at all, but yeah.
All right, anything else?
Your Honor, and you know, I did speak to Ms. Humphrey, and she relayed to me that she did try to contact probation to, you know, get that PSI cleared up before this warrant was issued, but she just had the issue with her work, where the appointment was made, and so she contacted, and I know the court is not concerned about the PSI at this time, but
Well, no, she had a choice to make. Her choice was either do her PSI, which would result in this court following this agreement or not, and she chose not to. That's where we are.
understood, Your Honor.
All right. Anything else you wish to say on her behalf?
Nothing else, Judge.
Anything else from the state?
No.
All right. This is what the court is going to do. Court is going to sentence you to an $800 fine. That will be probated. 4 years deferred adjudication. Proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. And probation, she is not allowed to work in the medical field unless they are aware of this charge. So you need to have them write a letter with the contact person at your work saying that they're aware that you're charged with this possession less than a gram case, and they still want you to work for them. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. And Ms. Abrams, even with that letter, she's still not allowed to work around medications. She's not allowed to be a home health care provider, and she's not allowed to have employment involving children. I'm going to do the UA hotline until further notice. Probation will do a TAP evaluation and that'll be done out of custody. If she missed that TAP appointment, file a motion to revoke and follow TAP recommendations. If TAP requests inpatient treatment, we'll start with intensive outpatient treatment. There's going to be 120 sober meetings and 120 days. Take in consideration 2024 CR 3189. 120 hours of community service restitution. How far did you go in school?
I graduated.
All right, so what are you planning on doing with the rest of your life, employment wise?
I was in the medical field, for medical assisting and I wanted to open up my own billing company, doing medical billing and coding,
Mhm.
but I don't know if that's an option anymore.
It doesn't appear to be. Let me explain something to you. You're on probation for a drug case where you obviously have an issue with drug use. So you're not allowed to be in a medical field where you dispense medication, work around anyone who has to take medication. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, 120 hours community service restitution. I'm going to order parenting classes. Once she completes parenting classes, the community service hours will be deemed satisfied. There should be CPS compliance. Field visits. One time per month. Until end treatment. And probation, whatever the TAP recommendations recommend, we are going to start with intensive outpatient treatment. Probation, is there anything else she needs?
Okay.
Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful? Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful on this probation?
Mhm.
All right, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal? With your attorney, did you understand it? Because this is a plea bargaining agreement, because I followed your plea bargaining agreement, because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, and I'll ask that the warrant be recalled.
There's no, sorry, just some clarification on the record. It's for 4 years stay, not 3 years.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, you'll take a seat in the box.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Cesar Gutierrez.
Yeah, Mr. Mora's not here. You can
Okay.
fill in the box.
All right, Mr. Mora. Where are you? Come
He's right
forward,
there.
please. Uh, Mr. Mora?
Ma'am.
Yes, we're gonna recall you back for September 10th. There's a doctor who's gonna speak with you. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, we'll see you back on the 10th, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You may be excused, Your Honor.
Yes.
Thank you.
Cesar Gutierrez. Yeah, I was wondering about that. Oh, thank you. Well, we say someone, we know who, don't we? All right, today is the plea deadline date. So, jury,
Yes, Your Honor.
all right, thank you for dressing appropriately for trial.
I believe the state is going to be asking for continuance, Your Honor.
All right. Well, can I see the state, please, on this case?
Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Young, today is, I know it says jury trial on the docket, but our jury trials are on Tuesdays. So those are the cases that go to trial. How much time do y'all need for a jury trial on this?
I think it would be less than a day, Your Honor,
All right, so probably 2 days because we do jury selection.
probably.
State, do you anticipate this jury trial lasting past 2 days?
No.
All right, so Ms. Ferguson, can you put Mr. Gutierrez for the next trial setting? It's 2 days, it's criminal trial division. It should be short. And then state on this one, Before you all leave, if you will prepare an acknowledgement of discovery.
Yes, sir.
All right, and once you sign the acknowledgement of discovery, you will be excused.
And are we coming back tomorrow, Your Honor?
Let's see, she's gonna give me a date,
Judge, August 6th.
August sixth.
I'd prefer the 9th of July.
I know, the only thing is that we have, what do we have tomorrow? Is it a murder trial?
That's the following week, Judge. We have a lot of cases. Well, no trial division, then we have family violence.
Okay,
My understanding is the state is going to try and dismiss and re-indict, Your Honor. So I'd like to have that done as quickly as we can.
Okay.
And we'd also like it to be a summons rather than a new bond. So
Okay.
it's not really his fault that this is happening.
all right, state. Are you all anticipating on re-indicting this case?
Yes.
All right. And when do you anticipate seeking to do that?
That I do not know because I do not know how quickly or slowly cases are being brought to grand jury by our intake division.
All right, then let's do this. If you could perhaps give Mr. Young the intake attorney's number where they can contact him and let him know when they anticipate taking this to the grand jury so that he doesn't need to make another bond.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
And I will accept whatever the court tells me to do.
All right. And Ms. Ferguson, what date did you say?
August 6th.
All right, so we'll be back on August 6th, and that will be your jury trial date.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, you're welcome. Once you sign the reset form, you will be excused, and then defense, once you sign the acknowledgement, you will be excused.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, state your excuse. Adele Kasan,
Kasan Gator?
I think, is his first name Gator or is it Adele?
It's
on this
Kasan
side.
Gator. Oh, sorry. Kasan Gator, Adele's his middle name.
Okay.
Kurt Hopkey for defense. Hopkey.
Sorry, I'll get told name, I'm sorry, but it's.
You're good.
All right, who's the prosecutor on this case? All right, a failure to remit tax.
Yes.
All right, so where are we on discovery?
I have a lot of paper. I don't have any media or anything like that. I'm not sure if there is any, but we'll double check with the state. I'm probably gonna need to do an achy motion to get my fraud examiner on this. This is a financial crime type thing, and it's a lot easier when I have somebody to explain it to me.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, on this case, can I have a 30-day reset for discovery and whatever motions you need to file, counsel need to be filed by that date?
No problem, Judge.
All right, thanks, Nate.
I've seen.
Oh, wait a second. You have to get the date. Just a second.
Oh, sorry.
I can do August 6th.
All right, we'll be back on
Uh,
August 6th. All right, and thank you for
That's not
dressing
a good date
appropriately
for
for
me,
court.
Judge. But I can negotiate with Norma.
Christopher Esquivel, good morning. Hello, thank you for dressing appropriately for court.
Thank you.
All right, and if the attorneys, if you'll state your name for the court reporter, she's learning everyone's name.
Perfect. Go ahead.
Ally Jackson, let's see.
Alfonso Cabañas for the defendant, Christopher Esquivel.
And who do you have with you?
Judge, and this is Ashanti Wilson. She's a second year at Tech Law School.
Oh, we're not gonna hold that against you. Well, welcome. You're always welcome to come to court anytime. Are you enjoying law school?
Yes.
Yeah, I always tell people, after your first year, it goes by so quickly, so enjoy it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So we need a jury trial date. How long do y'all expect this trial to last?
2 days, Judge.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, 2 day for family violence. When are they up? Do we think the other case is going to go?
And the one in next week?
Yes. Is that going to work
It's a
out?
strong possibility. I'm gonna try.
Okay.
I need to talk to one of the.
All right. So Ms. Ferguson, on this case, put it for next week. Or whenever family violence is up next.
It's that, or I think like the first or second week of August would be the next one after that, yeah.
August sixth, second week of August.
It would be August 13th.
18th.
Okay, so here's my question. So this week is criminal trial division. Next week is family violence.
But it was requested by the state and the defense for next week. We have switched to Mary Diaz.
I'm sorry, what?
We have put Mary Diaz that week, Judge, because that was the date that defense attorneys and the prosecutors approached her on.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So what date is that? The Mary Diaz date?
It's the 16th.
16th.
Yeah.
All right, so put this on the 16th. They're saying that things may work out. So 16th.
16th. Works for me, Your Honor.
All right, so that's a tentative date. We may be in a murder trial. If we are, then it's not going to go. All right, so we'll come back on July 16th. Is there anything else?
No, Judge.
All right. Once you receive the reset form, you excuse. Thank you for dressing appropriately for court.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Joseph Ramirez.
Joseph Ramirez.
Are you all ready to proceed?
No, Judge,
Oh, yeah,
I've talked to my client, and he wants to retain counsel, so he wants a reset to come back with with a retained attorney. Try to assist.
State, are you ready on Ramirez to proceed with a contested?
No, I haven't.
All right, so Mr. Ramirez, today is the day for your contested hearing. So if you have an attorney that you want here now, they can be here now. But this case was set on June 13th for today for a contested hearing. If you wanted to hire an attorney, you should have already hired one. So here's the thing, we're going forward today.
Okay.
All right. All right, thank you.
Let me confer with my client. Judge.
Sure.
Thanks.
DeAndre Scott, if you'll come forward, please. Hello. Hi, thank you so much for dressing appropriately for court. Your attorney sent a message to the court that she is ill with a sinus infection. I know how those are. So we are going to recall you. Do you wish to continue with the attorney you have?
No.
You don't? All right, just have a seat and we'll see if we can have another attorney appointed to represent.
If she's sick, I'll just keep her. I'll talk to her. She's been trying to help.
All right, so if not, just let the court know.
Okay. I'll keep her.
All right. Ms. Ferguson, recall this for Thursday. Are you employed?
I am. Can I do it on a Monday? I'm off Mondays.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, recall this for the 15th. This is going to be the last reset with this attorney, okay?
Please, thank you.
You're welcome. And it's DeAndre Scott. So you need to let the court know whether or not you're accepting the state's offer. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Otillo Espinoza Ruiz.
We are present.
All right, where is your client?
Judge, on this one, I think at the last setting, we've done a discovery setting to get some video over to the defense.
Mhm.
I was informed today that there were 2 videos that they were still missing.
Okay,
So I'm in the process of downloading that right now.
all right, so it will be available though.
Yeah, I guess, Judge. I'm putting it on a flash drive today.
All right, so what we're gonna do on this case, and how long do you anticipate that video is?
It's a pretty sizable file, Your Honor.
I started downloading it to the flash drive. Whenever Mario brought it to my attention earlier this morning, it's still downloading more of the videos.
All right. So Ms. Ferguson, if you can recall this for the end of July for a plea deadline date, is that enough time, counsel?
That should be perfect timeline.
July, I can do July 30th.
Right. Your plea deadline date is going to be July 30th. Thank you for dressing appropriately for trial. Once you sign the reset form, you excuse.
Yes. Thank you.
And state on that date, I'll also need an acknowledgement of discovery sign.
Yes, ma'am.
Kevin Wright. Sir, you need to have a seat. Oh, what's your name?
My name is Perez. My name is Gutierrez.
First row, sir.
Yes.
In the first row.
All right, and Norma, if you can let Adrian know his client is here. Hello.
Good morning.
And counsel, if you'll introduce yourself to the court reporter. All right, counsel, you're on this side. All right, where are we on discovery?
Judge, I think we've received all the discovery in this case, and we would like to have another pretrial if we could.
All right, were they able to tender an offer or no?
They did this morning.
Okay. How old are you?
21.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, set this for the second week in August for a plea deadline date. And it's Kevin Wright.
August 13th.
All right, so we're going to come back on August 13th. At that time, you'll need to let the court know whether or not you've reached an agreement with the state. Do you understand?
Yes,
All right, so if there's anyone you need to talk to, I'm sure your attorney will help you with that.
ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, Mr. Wright, is there anything else you need from the court?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you. All right, Dominic Nicholson. All right. All right, so expert, GSR expert.
Yes, Shope. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes.
Shope? Okay, so the Ally's in touch with her. She's delivered a discovery packet that they're gonna upload to eDiscovery.
Okay.
And we all agree she's designated as an expert. So we're not gonna do written designations, where defense and state designate her,
Okay.
if that's okay.
Yes.
And we all agree for her appearance by Zoom. So I think we've got that situation pretty well covered.
Okay.
And then Ally said she would get me a 404B and witness list together. And I trust that she'll do that as soon as she can. And we discussed a trial date of August 13th.
All right, your jury trial date will be August 13th. Your plea deadline has expired. The court will only accept plea bargain agreements in this case with good cause. Otherwise, you have to plea open to the court. Do you understand? Any questions about anything? All right, so what they'll do is they'll bring you over dressed for trial. You'll be brought over dressed in whatever clothing you were arrested in. If you wish to be attired in something different, you'll have to do a clothing exchange with your counsel.
Yeah, we talked about that.
And counsel, if there's an issue with the clothing exchange, because I know rules change every 10 minutes, just let the court know and we'll see what we can do to expedite that.
Okay, I dread going over there and everything is, but okay, I need to review my file.
Mhm.
Mr. Nicholson has filed some pro se motions. I know that you would want me to adopt those if I want to urge them.
Yes.
Or, and I believe I have a couple of motions. If, I don't know if they're, I just need to review it. I don't think they're evidentiary.
Mhm.
So I guess you would do the motions. the
Well,
day of-
if there's some motion, what do you anticipate the
I-
motions being?
I really have to look at it again.
All right, if it's something you want set, just let the court know. We'll set it and we'll hear it before then.
Okay.
All right.
That sounds good. All right, and I'll work on that and see what we need. Okay,
All right.
so that's it. Maybe we've excused.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Always good seeing you.
Thank you. Thank you. I think
What did I do?
Oh, no, then she was asking me for your name and I said, if you would not have asked me, I would have told you right away.
No, just LY. I used to joke my parents couldn't afford the E. They were honest people.
I like that.
They were funny.
All right, so where are we on this case?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I have conferred this morning with Prosecutor Eddie Flores, and I've received an offer and discussed it with my client. I think that I need to finish looking at the discovery because I may come up with, I believe I'm onto some grounds that might induce the state to give a considerably better offer. So I'd like to ask that we set this case for a plea deadline in about a month, if that would be.
Sure. And let me ask you, is your client a citizen or no?
My client is not a citizen. That is part of the reason why we don't want to proceed today. I have gotten some advice from the MAC, but I was planning on talking to them more because
Okay.
it's in his distinct best interest that I do so.
All right, Ms. Ferguson. If you'll recall this in 30 days for a plea deadline date?
Yes. August 6th.
I think that works. Let me grab my phone.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, so we're gonna be back on August 6th. That will be your plea deadline date. On that date, you need to let the court know whether or not you're accepting the offer that's been tendered. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, and your attorney has informed the court that there are things she wants to look into. I'm giving you the August 6th date, but if she wants you brought over earlier than that, she will let the court know. All right, any questions?
No.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Sanchez. Let's see. All right, so what are we here for?
Judge, the last time we were in court, you lifted the no unsupervised contact with children, with no opposition from ADA Jackson. He is still living in the sober home, the sober living facility. And you just wanted him to come back to give a quick update on how he was doing, how things were going with the kids and so forth.
All right, how are things going? Talk to me.
Everything is going very well. I'm still at the sober living house, and so my same job. I just purchased a truck for the weekend, and I had my kids all weekend at the sober living house, and took them swimming at my dad's house, took them to church, and
Okay, so what did you all do this weekend? Watch fireworks or?
no, I didn't watch any fireworks or anything. We just went swimming with my dad, and then I took them. They stayed the night at my house, and then I took them to church in the morning. Go to Mission Point Church, over by, it's out of the Norris Conference Center,
Okay.
and by like Nordstrom Mall. So
I've been.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Have you ever heard of Urbe? I think his name is Urbe.
No.
He was the one who gave the sermon. Over,
Okay.
yeah, and so I've been going there every Sunday and just doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Okay, so what are your future plans?
Well, my next future plans is just to finish with probation, and since I bought the truck and I like own it, I don't have to make payments, so I'm gonna start saving up money, maybe for an apartment or a house, but that's gonna be later on. I think I'm gonna stay at sober living for a while because it's very inexpensive, and over this past, I've been in the sober living house since October because I got out of jail more or less around October, and a month after I got out, I went to the sober living house on my own, and it's been like the same group of guys that have been there, so they're really close with them, and I think I'm gonna just stay there for a while and try to build myself up for when I'm ready to leave.
Okay, because and of course, I've never been in the situation that you've been in, but what I do know from my experience in working in treatment courts, it's that it's sort of easy to fall off the path because problems will hit you, and then usually people will go back to what they know, and I don't want that to happen to you. So just make sure you stay vigilant in everything that you're doing.
Yes,
and if there's an issue or life pops up and hits you in the face and you don't know what to do, you can always call your probation officer. You can always come back here. Don't fall back into the same patterns, because if you do, you could end up losing your children and everything that you worked hard for. You understand?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, so what do you want from the court?
I don't want anything else from the court right now. I just would like to say thank you for giving me the opportunity for probation and allowing me to be with my children and lifting that off of my probation. I'm really grateful. And a lot of times, like I told you this last time, that like I know you have your YouTube, I'll watch your YouTube sometimes, and like I'll watch people that like really make bad choices or bad mistakes, and some people like just would rather go to prison than be on probation. I'll kind of do that to stay grateful, and I just want to say thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And I'm serious. If something hits you in the face, don't throw up your hands. Think of your children, call probation, or either you can come back here. We're here Monday through Friday.
Yes, Judge. And I feel I really will. I feel really comfortable like with my probation officer. She's been very nice and like very helpful with things. As long as I do my part, you know. And I appreciate you being welcoming like that to the court.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Well, keep up the good work.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Thank you.
Have a good day.
All right. You too. Thank you. Maria Ruiz. 2022 CR 2434, State of Texas versus Maria Ruiz. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state? Defense.
Attorney Edward Osfello, Ms. Ruiz, ready?
Are you Ms. Ruiz?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery? Did you review it with your client?
Yes,
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Ms. Ruiz, did you review the document entitled Application for Community Supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented? Ms. Ruiz, did you review the document entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you're charged with harassment of a public servant? That's a third-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years, up to $10,000.
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call in the right to remain silent? Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her? Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense? Ms. Ruiz, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter the plea? Anyone promised you anything other than the plea? Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it? According to the plea, there is 6 years in prison, a $1,500 fine. State recommends community supervision. They were taking in consideration 2022 CR 2435. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea?
It is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea?
It is, Your Honor.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 6 years. There'll be a TAP evaluation and 180 hours of community service restitution. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations? Then to the offenses charge, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? State any evidence?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, state you may be excused. Did you review the document entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after the states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are we proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Judge, my client's been in custody for approximately a little less than 2 years now. She's undergone some treatment for mental health issues that she was going through. She's been diagnosed with schizophrenia and at one point was incompetent to stand trial. Recently, within the last few months, she was found competent and transferred back to Bexar County. She's been able to confer with me competently, go over her case, understands the proceedings against her. I believe she's ready to move on with her life. She understands that this isn't her. She doesn't want to be this person. She understands that the crimes that were committed were wrong. And I think part of that has to do with her mental health space at that time. But she's ready to move on and be successful in this probation. If I can speak to her living situation, Judge.
Well, before you speak to that, let me ask you. So was there a hearing heard in magistrate's court restoring her competency?
Yes.
All right, all right. You may
And
proceed.
then again, Judge, yes, so she was restored in the last few months and brought back to Bexar County, Texas. She was staying at Haven for Hope for a brief time, and then after that was staying in camps. I've spoken with her. Her plan going forward is to go back to Haven for Hope to get help with her living situation, and then obviously she's down the street from probation, make any appointments she needs to do with them. Obviously, as far as a phone number, she doesn't have that right now. I know probation can work with them, understanding how to get a hold of people at Haven for Hope. In addition to that, I think it would be a benefit to her to get services through Center for Healthcare Services as far as making sure she's continuing to be medicated for her diagnosis. I know when she was at the mental health hospital, they had her on some medications where in my conversations with her, it helped her stop with her shaking. Now back in jail, they're not giving her those same meds, a little different, but it is still helping the medications that she's taking. So any help with Center for Healthcare Services so that she can see a doctor, so that she continue to get the treatment that she receives. And then as far as the fees go, I know they did a $1,500 fine. You know, she's indigent, she doesn't have.
They'll be waived.
And then I know in speaking with her a little bit more, her plan is to obviously try to apply for some jobs and get some employment. But I believe that she'll be able to be successful on this probation. Other conversation that we had, if she needs assistance from you, she knows to ask. You know, I told her that this court is open to helping defendants succeed on probation, and whatever that she needs, you'll do your best to help her. And that includes, you know, if for whatever reason something may happen at Haven for Hope outside her control. I know sometimes people end up getting kicked out, unfortunately. But I told her at that point, hey, go straight to your probation department, see exactly whatever help they can do for you. In closing, Judge, we tried different avenues in order to try to make sure to get whatever assistance she needed so that we set her up for success. This
this was the best case scenario in terms of what I could get done. And Mr. Ruiz understands that, so I just ask that you follow the plea bargain agreement and give her a chance with probation.
All right. So do you have any family here in San Antonio?
My mom said she moved and my brother is coming out on the streets.
All right. And so just your mom?
Yeah,
All right. Has Child Protective Services ever been involved in your life?
yes, I grew up in Child Protective Service.
All right. And do you have any children yourself or no? What happened to your eye?
Oh, I heard it was a dog bite and then I got into a fight a couple of days ago
At the jail?
at the jail, yes.
Okay. Have you ever had employment?
Yes,
Doing what?
Yoda. I was working at the Yoda plant.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Mhm.
I was working at the Toyota plant, with car parts, inspecting them. And McDonald's and Wendy's and, that's
Okay.
it.
And what was happening with you on this day when
Um,
this happened?
I couldn't remember.
Okay. All right, because in the police report, they said she was walking on the freeway. It's one of the few cities that I've been in where people walk on the freeway. Someone was running across the freeway and I almost hit them. They were just running across the freeway. And so, state, I don't know if this is a case that you all would consider maybe referring her to the mental health court and see if they'll accept her.
Judge, I think that, I don't know if that avenue has been gone down, but she does have a felony conviction for ag assault in her past.
So they're not going to accept her. Yeah. Thank you. All right. This is what the court will do. Court will sentence you to a $1,500 fine. That will be probated. 6 years in prison, suspended and probated for 6 years. Taking consideration 2022 CR 2435. There's going to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. There will be regular random UAs. Probation, do you know if lifetime recovery, I can't remember if they have a dual diagnosis program? And I think Haven for Hope is great, but maybe lifetime recovery would be potentially more stable. The issue is that she needs someone to make sure she's taking her medications. And I really would love to be able to release her if she already had a case manager in place, but it doesn't sound as though she has one. Usually though, when they're restoring competency, my experience is that they will have set her up maybe with a case manager. Did they do that at all?
Not that I'm aware of.
Do you have a case manager?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Have you ever had a case manager?
No, ma'am.
All right. So that's what she needs. Somebody to make sure she's taking all of her meds and to check in on her. And let my fingers do the walking very quickly and see.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, the third.
Judge.
Yes.
To be a lifetime. Let's have a positive substance abuse disorder.
Okay. What about the San Antonio Recovery Center? Because they do have a dual diagnosis program. Okay. This is what I'll do then. I'm going to give you some options, right? And we'll see where that leads us. If it leads us down a path that we should not be on, then we'll figure out something else. I just don't want to set her up for failure. And I don't want her to leave the jail and she has no medications.
I agree, Judge.
So what I'm going to do is probation. We'll do regular random UAs. Have you ever used drugs in the past?
Yes.
All right. So we'll do lifetime recovery. She's used drugs in the past. What drugs have you used?
Ice and weed.
All right. So she's used ice and weed. So maybe that would get her into there
And drinking.
and drinking.
And drinking.
Okay. So we'll do lifetime recovery. And see if, will they be able to pick her up from the jail? Because she doesn't have a place to go.
Yes, Judge.
All right. So,
Go ahead, Judge.
all right, we'll do lifetime recovery. And we'll have you released to lifetime recovery. Uh, 180 hours of community service restitution. Field visits. 1 time per month for 4 months. And do y'all have any trauma-informed care for her? Oh, you know what?
We need to do a mental evaluation
Okay.
and that's a Comey evaluation.
All right.
Set up her up for services.
All right. So we'll do MIC evaluation. And how long is their evaluation if it were in custody?
I could probably get the MIC evaluation, that portion done within 2 to 3 weeks. But if further which we think that's gonna happen, that further evaluation, that's gonna be maybe September.
So this is what we'll do. We'll do MIC evaluation and a referral to Center for Healthcare Services, and that can be out of custody. And then both defense counsel and state and I will look into other options.
So at the moment, we're not ordering lifetime, or we are?
No, we are.
Okay.
And an anger management class. Probation, is there anything else?
She received type of SSI, or if you want to think like that, Judge.
Are you receiving any SSI? All right. So she's going to sign a medical release and I'll do proof of employment or SSI within 45 days of release. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider with minors. And there's to be no unsupervised contact with minors. All right, is there anything else?
Not in state, that's it for the defense, Your Honor.
Probation, anything else? All right, is there anything else you need from the court? All right, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question of what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to your attorney. Do you understand? All right, we're going off the record. Here's the thing. Mental health, I know sometimes people will take their medications. They have side effects. They're feeling good. They don't understand, why am I taking this medication and the side effects are bad, so I'm gonna stop taking it. If you see that you're having side effects or there's something about the medication that you don't like the way it makes you feel, you need to let your doctor know, because maybe they will give you something to counteract that, or maybe there's a different drug for you to take. Do you understand? But if you stop taking your medication, it appears We're going to be right back where we were before with you being incompetent. And when you're declared to be incompetent based upon the nature of your cases, guess what they do? They have to send you to the state hospital. That's the rules. Those are the legal rules. They don't have this option where, oh, well, we'll just do this or we'll do that. No, the law says you shall go to inpatient facility until you become competent. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
And if you have any issues, let your probation officer know. If you feel that they're not addressing it, you can always come back to court. Do you understand? So we're going to see if we can do something where you at least have treatment and you stay on your medications. And immediately, when you're released from custody, you need to immediately go to the Center for Healthcare Services, because I'm unsure if the jail is going to release you with medication. Usually they don't. You understand? And if you don't have your medication, you know what's going to end up happening. You're going to end up back on the freeway and we're going to be back here. All right? All right. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. May I be excused?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So we're back on the record in 2024 CR 4259W and 2024 CR 4260W. State of Texas versus Renee Angel Cantu. Can I have parties re-announced for the record for the state,
Jason Garrett, Your Honor.
for the defense?
Roy Barrera Jr.
And you're Mr. Cantu?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
Why are you banging on the walls in the back?
My ankle monitor was going off 5 separate times. Officer Mejia heard me or heard it. I was like putting it on the door. Just so I didn't want to get in trouble. It would be my very first violation in like 3 years. But Miss Priscilla Valadez is my officer. If you could please tell her.
No, that's not what we heard in the back.
Yeah,
That it wasn't related to your GPS. It was you banging on walls.
No, it was me shaking the door to get his attention. But yeah, I think my thing's dead now and I don't want to get in trouble.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything else?
Your Honor, he has probably never focused on doing what is right for as long a period of time as you've had him on probation as well as on your conditions of bond. It's amazing.
Look, it's going off right now.
Yes.
It just started to get it.
Okay, it's amazing the turnaround that he has done. It's working full time. Out of the I guess the situation, the friends that he was keeping, all of that, Judge. But he'll be the first to tell you it was you and this court, and it was your probation officers who have guided him and mentored him and advised him and counseled him all the way through. So I don't know that he could have done any of this without being under, your watchful eye and that of probation. You generally have some kind of excuses about ankle monitors, and typically, at least in 3 years, you think that you have some, even though it was just an accident, some violation, however minuscule, but gosh, I don't know how more perfect that you could get than perfect as far as his behavior and his record. And in view of the fact that, as you can see, he looks perfectly healthy. This is a life of no alcohol and no drugs, and just really getting a grip on the fact that he knows what prison's all about, Judge. He's been there. He knows what jail's all about. He's been in many. And he knows what his father's gone through, and he's still there. So I think he's really just made a world of improvement over his personal life. And you know, because of all that you've done, professionally speaking, all the people he could blame, all the excuses he could have, he's got them. He wanted to use them. And you've never, ever heard him tell you anything about his past. His past is very checkered, no question. But also, you know, the hand that he was dealt was not straight aces. He's made the best with deuces, and he's climbing out of a deep hole, Judge. And he wants to continue to climb that ladder all the way out and stay out. So I would hope that you would consider all the good that he's been able to accomplish and allow him the opportunity to continue doing what's right, what's good, what's healthy. I mean, you can just look at him. He's living a healthy life. Well, it's true.
Yes.
All right, anything from the state? All right, so here's the thing. Mr. Garahan, I know you're not the one who worked out this agreement. And this is why the court likes for cases to move quickly enough so that everybody, no violation of due process will occur. Because many a times I will have people who come before me and cases have been transferred from other courts where somebody's on their 4th or 5th DWI. And they come to me and it's been transferred to my court. And this person has been on ignition interlock for 4 years because I end up with an old case that's been transferred from another court. And then what ends up happening is people will argue to me, this person has been in rehab for 2 years. Everything is going well for them. You know, isn't punishment about rehabilitation? And that's true. Punishment is about rehabilitation, but it's also about punishment. He was placed on probation by this court in another case, 2022 CR 11790. And he was placed on probation in that case because parties proceeded on it as a possession case. Let me check to make sure. Yes, parties proceeded on it as a possession case, and the state was silent. And while these other 2 cases were pending, that's when the plea was entered into. The court did not receive information about these 2 cases because I'm assuming, and anybody can correct me if I'm wrong, labs were not in, so no one knew what the drugs were would be positive for. And no information was presented to the court in the sentencing for the 2022 CR 11790 case, the weight of these drugs, what these drugs were for, because again, nobody had information on that. And the laboratory reports were not in. So hopefully more money will be spent in improving how long it takes for drug testing to come back. So we won't have a situation that we have now. So now what I have before me is I have a situation where somebody is on probation. The court hasn't received any violations of probation because these cases were pending when he was placed on probation. So technically that is not a violation. And in these 2 cases, you're a drug dealer. That's it. And you are building your happiness off somebody else's misery because drugs destroy lives and people who are drug dealers are doing it for a quick buck.
Correction, Your Honor, I do not
No,
do that
do not
anymore.
interrupt me.
Yes, ma'am.
You were dealing drugs.
Yes, I was.
You were building your happiness off somebody else's misery. There are people who are out there for whatever reason, maybe they're young, they don't know any better, and they start taking drugs, and the next thing you know, they can't kick them.
Yes, ma'am.
Then you have some people who are in their thirties, they start using drugs and then they can't kick them.
Yes, ma'am.
But this is destroying people's lives, and this was drug dealing.
Yes, ma'am.
Why the federal government has not come to your doorstep, I don't know. This is state jurisdiction, so I'm just dealing with what I have before me here. Under normal circumstances, all things considered, if you just had these two cases and you're not on probation with the court, I'd send you to prison. But you're on probation. And so I have to deal with what I have here. So this is what the court is going to do. In each case, the court is finding you guilty. The court is sentencing you to 10 years in the prison. That will be suspended and probated for 10 years. These cases will run concurrently. Taking consideration CM 104043, NIMAC number 712122, and 712121. Are you going to remain on GPS until further notice?
Yes, ma'am.
So that's GPS until further notice. Probation. I'm going to want random field visits. Until further notice. And there's to be field visits no less than 2 months. No, I'm sorry, no less than every 2 months. I'm going to order the MRT.
I didn't hear that.
MRT.
What is that, Joe?
Moral recognition therapy.
Okay.
There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. The UA hotline until further notice. And probation, the UA hotline, he needs to be tested at least once a month, and it's random. But if y'all want to test him more than that, you can test him more than that. There's to be proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home healthcare provider or with minors. And based upon what you said your occupation is, they need to know what you're on probation for. And they need to provide a letter to probation stating that you've informed them what you're on probation for. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. It's already in file. They have 10 steps ahead. I already had it from my boss.
Yeah. All right. You need to turn it over to probation.
Yes, ma'am.
And probation, you need to call his employer to make sure that that's the employer. There's going to be 200 hours of community service restitution. Probation, is there anything else? And state, do you know if there's any restitution for, I'm going to put restitution for drug testing. And all right, and there's going to be restitution for drug testing and each cost. I think the DEA are the ones who did that. Let me double check. I think it would be the United States government, and we'll see who wants it as far as the funds.
I believe it was the state judge.
I'd have to check.
All right, let me check. It says Dallas. All right. All right, and probation, is there anything else? Anything else? All right, and also you're not, just 1 second, and also you're not allowed to possess any scales. So you're gonna have to figure out how else to weigh yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Probation? Yes, counsel?
Yes, Judge, are the 3 probations running concurrently?
Yes.
Okay.
Is there anything else?
Thank you, Judge.
Hey, what do you suggest on my ankle monitor? Just call Miss Priscilla Valadez and say, hey.
Probation will tell you what to do with that.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
All right, did you review the documents entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am, I should.
Because this is a plea bargaining agreement, because I followed your plea bargaining agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because these are felony convictions, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak with your attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, probation.
Yes, Judge, in regards to the monitor, he is on the monitor through trial services. So,
All right,
let that monitor removed or have the new monitor installed before removal or?
yes. I need to have a new monitor installed before removal.
Is that going to work release or what happens if we that monitor?
All right, if it's through work release, will he have to walk over to the jail? All right, they've been saying they don't want that anymore because they are low funds. You're gonna have to pay for GPS.
Okay, it's 300 a month. I remember you have waived that.
That's because you're with pretrial. But this
Okay.
is an outside agency, so I can ask that it be waived,
Okay,
but I have no authority.
so last December, I believe, I came to you. I'm like, you placed me on probation and said, hey, if you.
Okay, let me just stop you right there. So here's the thing, and we're off the record.
Yes, ma'am.
You were 2 seconds from going to prison. And when people are 2 seconds from going to prison, you know what they end up telling me? And I tell you, your attorney can tell you this too. And because I'm sure he's had clients do it to him. You know what? I will do a lifetime probation. And then when you get the probation, then you start asking for extra. So you need to hold on to the thought
Yes,
that
ma'am.
you were 2 seconds from going to prison for 10 years.
Yes, ma'am.
All
I
right.
apologize. Yes, ma'am.
And now you're on probation.
Yes, ma'am.
So you need to let that marinate.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
I like that word.
right.
Marinate.
Yes. All right. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Yes.